Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Synth Geekery. Where are you at? You're at episode 196, which is, it's kind of in the middle of March somewhere. 11th of March, maybe it's the 12th of March. I don't know, wherever you are. But hello everyone, welcome. If you're wondering what we do here, we'll say hello to our guests. We've got one person still to come. The regular people today, we've got Darren, Ian, Brooksy, and then Andy's to come. So we'll say good day to everyone in a sec. Lots of news this week. Probably another big Behringer sort of taking over the news week. We'll deal with it kind of similarly to how we did it last week. We'll sort of touch everything, and then we can pick at something if anyone feels that they want to. And also, I haven't had a chance to do any funny, so whilst I'm getting you guys to say your welcomes, I'm going to start preparing funny side, because I literally haven't actually had a chance to do it. But before we go any further, we do have some couple of things that we need to do housekeeping wise. We do need to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, so we'll do that now. These are the generous people from on Patreon, and we also have the channel members, which you'll see in the chat with special badges next to the name because they're very special. I haven't updated this list though, so I've got John Simpson on there, but I think there's someone else is not supposed to be on there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. There's the list. Thank you to all those people. Always, it's nice to say thank you. Don't forget, also, we do have StreamYard running in the background. And StreamYard is... Let me get the link for you guys so you guys can click on it. If you do have a video camera or a webcam and a mic, most webcams have mics, jump onto StreamYard. You can be part of the show. The link is in the chat. We'll do the hellos and I'll set up funny side. We'll start with Andrew, because you were away last week, so big hello to you, mate. And your name's Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Me.
Hi, Chris. That's just really bad.
Call me Chris. I don't mind. I've been called worse.
That's fine. I'll fix it.
Yeah. So I was not here last week because I was in Norwich at the at Synth East, which was just a fabulous event. Really, really good event, and I thoroughly recommend it to everybody who didn't manage to get there this year. Make sure you do, because it was just delightful. Really delightful. Yeah, sorry, Ian.
Sorry, I'm just crying in my beer here.
Well,
I didn't get a chance
cool.
to look at anything,
nice.
Brooksy, with that. So do tell us a bit more, because I'm on the other side of the world here. So
a bit more. Right, there are some videos out. I mean, Gaz Williams from Sonic State put one up as a sort of little summary of the event, as did Robin Vincent, who was the organizer. So that during the late morning and afternoon till about 5 o'clock, there was basically like a synth fair, a bit like a mini synth fest. A lot of modular stuff, but not exclusively. Some really interesting manufacturers. Bifaco were there. Manu from Bifaco, who was just great fun. Really got on well with him. Bastel, Darren were there with their little things.
Oh no!
So we had a really good chat with. I didn't dare tell him. I didn't tell him. I didn't. But
you should have mentioned the park bench. I might have the whole series.
I'm not sure how well it would have translated into Czech. So I didn't. Not that I speak Czech, but
they've got a sense of Czechs.
Yeah, they probably would have. They were really nice. And then dotted through the afternoon were live performances. This patch off where there were 6 of us in total, whose names were then literally drawn out the hat. Robin Vincent's woolly hat, to pair up with each other with our modular stuff and see what happens. Improvise for 15 minutes or so, and so there was me, Robin Vincent, Lula York, Steve Davis, Gaz Williams, and Sam Battle. Look, Mum, No Computer. In the end, the way that got. Yeah. With the great Cosmos systems. I mean, with the 2 big cases and stuff. It was, honestly, such good fun. All these people, they were just delightful to meet and talk to and be around. So In the end, Gaz Williams and Sam Battle were drawn together, which I thought was a really good outcome. The two, like the two sort of like larger than life characters, who just, together. Lula York and Steve Davis, and then me and Robin Vincent, and we went first. Robin and I went first in the patch off, and it went really well. I can't believe how well it went, actually, because in the morning I'd got absolutely nothing going. I'd started something at home beforehand, and it was just rubbish. I was just so fed up of it, and it wasn't doing anything for me. So I set the modular up in the hotel room at about 6 o'clock on Saturday morning, and started playing about, and a few things started to come together, which I thought, that's going. That's right. At least I've got something I can start, I can go, and then that was nice. And in the evening, there was a sort of few hours of shutdown while they rearranged the venue for the evening sessions, which was full live performances again of Steve Davis with Robin Vincent this time, then Finlay Shakespeare of Future Sound Systems. He's a modular manufacturer, but he's also a performer. I thought he was astounding. I'm absolutely blown away by him. And then finishing that off was Nick Colt Void, who I believe's got some connection with Chris and Cozy, so the former members of Throbbing Gristle, and she was amazing too.
They did a couple of albums together, Andy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But then, but there's a connection there with Finlay Shakespeare, you see, because Finn in a Future Sound Systems release or manufacture and release Chris Carter's Gristleizer modules. So I suspect there's a certain overlap. But it was great. The performances were amazing. The crowd was lovely. Loads of people. I say loads of people. I think there was 150 tickets or something like that. So there was never masses and masses of people. But the venue was small and cozy, but it was just right. It was everything about it was just brilliant. A really great event. And Robin and the Electronic Sounds magazine and the Norwich Arts Centre all working together produced a really, really excellent event. Really excellent.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Well, thanks for that little sort of update on the synth thing. Yeah, awesome. We're going to go across to Darren. Darren, how's your week been, mate? I did fix your title too.
Well, I can't top Andy's. So, not much to say then. Everything will feel inferior. No, nothing really. I've just
no.
nothing. Just snow and cold. No, I've just done the follow up to.
You sent everyone an email, so you can tell us about that at least.
Have I?
Yeah, it did. Yes.
When did I send an email?
You sent an email out. Where is it? During the week.
I haven't.
Yeah, it was an update from Darren. Darren, it was an update from Darren. I can't find it now. Doesn't matter.
I don't remember sending an email out. Been hacked if it have, surely. Couldn't have been an email.
Yeah.
It was from Bandcamp. Maybe your Bandcamp's been hacked.
Was it?
Yeah.
Must have been. No, I've not sent anything out this week. No, I've not sent a thing. It was a while back. I sent just the titles for The Life We Live 2. That was a couple of weeks back, but I've not sent anything out this week. Anyway, I've done a follow-up to Sonar, so it's Sonar Deep tomorrow. But other than that, just fiddling about with the album, and that's about it. So my week's been pretty, I don't know, boring.
Have you got some sunshine coming in the window there? It does look quite bright. Or is it just?
It's bright, but believe it or not, it's very grey.
Very grey. You don't need to show.
Are you turning me down then? I can turn myself down.
I haven't turned
Probably
you down.
A lot of people might like that.
Oh, you mean like with the light? I see. Look at that. Hasn't he got all the mod cons there?
Might be.
Guys? Yeah. Fantastic.
It's worse now.
Yeah.
It's not bright outside, by the way. It's just very white. It might even snow again.
We'll move over to Ian. Say hello to Ian. How's your week been, mate?
Good afternoon. Good, actually. Yeah, no, all right. This came yesterday. My
NT, what do you call it?
Yeah.
NTS
The
one or something.
NTS2.
NTS2.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And the patch and tweak book, which is brilliant, I have to say. Been look at that. So yeah, no, I mean, I ordered that. Oh God, what, 9 months ago, something like that.
Really?
Anyway, it finally turned up, and I put it together last night through PSN. You can buy it. Here we are, the plug. You can buy it from my website, and we're the cheapest in the UK at the moment. If anybody's interested, that's the plug out the way anyway. What else have I been doing? Sold a really expensive microphone to France, so I've bought myself a Critti and Guitari IZ synthesizer, which is their video thing. So I've been after one of them for quite a while. So I'm waiting for that. That's going to turn up next week. I might end up using it for
What
EMOD.
do you mean a video thing? Does it,
I was going to say it.
Does
It's
it
got
control
EMOD written on
videos?
it.
It's just a little box that will you put your plug input into it, and it creates graphics.
Yeah, so it's
Now,
like
they're sort
a
of-
VJ
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I quite fan. I mean, I've done a little bit of that sort of stuff in Max MSP, or Jitter as it is, but I'm really crap at it. So I thought I should buy a box when I had a bit of spare cash.
I'm sure you're
and
not.
selling this microphone, which pretty much covers the cost of it, really. You know, I sold a vintage Rello Sound ribbon mic, which I've literally had for decades, and I've used it occasionally, but it's literally just sat there covered in plastic for probably 5 or 6 years. And I thought, I need to sell this thing. So anyway, it's gone to France. You know, it's the one that you'll have seen in the early 60s. The Beatles used it, all that sort of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, that's about it really.
Awesome.
Bought a plug-in. I bought the Audio Things Texture, which is a granular reverb, which is brilliant for €9, so £6 at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. That will keep you busy. That's a lot.
It will, yeah.
Awesome. All right, Andy's arrived, filling in the black space. Hello, mate.
How's it going? Oh man, where do I start? The life of an IT goofball. I had some practice yesterday because I had to work till 4 or something in the morning on some project, doing some auditing stuff and all that. So that's always fun. More good news that it's probably auditing to getting my job taken away from me, but who knows? So I had a nice morning, early morning nightmare yesterday as well. So, but yeah, other than that, everything's great. Went to reward myself because it was payday and had a otherwise a decent week. I went to my favorite place and got some good used goodies. So when I get a
Perfect
Roland
Circuit?
S550.
Is that your favourite place?
No, my favorite local haunt in San
in the
Jose,
Bay
Santa
Area.
Clara area.
Yeah.
It's this place here. This is their logo. Starvey Musician. This little guy.
Cool. Give him a plug.
And they have I got a Roland S550, Roland VT4, Antares AVP1, and a Future Retro Mobius sequencer, which is ultra rare, and a couple other things. So Mobius is cool because it's got MIDI, CV.
Yeah, I remember the
It's
Mobius,
one of the
yeah.
one of the early ones that does all that stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
And I got it all really, really cheap. I also got this weird thing by Gem, which I've never ever seen before, but they gave me a crazy deal because I was buying other stuff.
Gem, as in
it's
the company that took over
S2.
Elko, isn't it?
It's Gem S2A or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gem
right.
It's this
S2.
weird looking rack mount. It looks like a 1U and a 2U bolted together in a case.
Yeah.
It's got a funky design, but
What is it, a digital
it's a
synth?
beautiful Rompler sampler thingy.
Yeah, right.
And or
How
synth
old
as
is
well.
that, Andy? What,
Yeah,
what sort of
I
age
could
is
barely
that?
find any information
Oh,
on
it's
it. It's probably
late 80s.
late 90s.
I reckon it'd be
It's
90s.
late 90s.
Yeah, it'd be 90s.
Is that the same company that used to do the Gem organs? Because that was my first organ, was a Gem.
Yeah, Gem
the
did
Gem
organs.
is my little
Yeah,
my
early.
little Middle Eastern synth that's right here. I have a Middle Eastern thingy that's from Gem from has a 220 power supply and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of gem stuff, but this thing was like, I mean, they gave me a crazy deal on it. It sounded really amazing. Kind of a mix between a D50 and a Korg O&W and a few other things kind of smashed together. So I'm like, wow, that sounds great. I got to get that.
Wow.
Problem is it's floppy based, and there's only so many presets, so I'm probably have to make my own samples on it. So,
Wow,
Can I ask,
that's
Andy,
lots of gear.
did you get the monitor with the S550?
I did not, but they're adaptable. I can use any monitor with it, and also any mouse. I had the Roland mouse adapter. So,
does it have the HDMI
okay.
or does it have something else?
No, it's an RGB.
no, it's old
RGB.
school.
Oh,
Yeah,
that old.
It's
Okay.
really,
I think.
Oh yeah.
I think at one point it was a custom
When you need
fitting.
it.
I forgot which. Yeah. And
Fair enough.
I think they even
Yeah,
had
I have an
SCART at one point
S550.
on it.
Wow.
So
I don't
yeah, it
even
came
know
with a
what
pack of floppies with some guys' custom shit on it. So I don't know what it's on it actually. I got a bunch of weird samples to check out. So
747 just flew over my. I actually don't know what an S550 is. Sorry.
oh,
It's
okay.
It's
It's
the
the
Mac
S50
version
keyboard in a rack.
Oh,
They actually had
Same format as a
S50 in the store
W30.
as well.
okay. So
And
it's
it's
a
a W30
Roland.
as well.
It's a Roller sampler keyboard. The S50. Yeah. Okay.
But they had
I
the
bought one
S50 in the store as well,
ages
but it
ago.
was jacked up.
Yeah.
The mod wheel's all screwed up, so I'm not going to buy something broken. You know.
Now I know
I
the
bought an
reference.
S550 to be when I was playing live a lot, so that I didn't have to keep reloading floppies because it's the same format as the W30, so it reads the samples and the programs just straight, and so I could import them easily straight off the W30 discs, and that that meant that I wasn't having to reload because it had a huge 1 megabyte of memory rather than half a megabyte in like the W30.
Yeah. Well, my
Masses of samples.
it's not mine anymore. My old MKS70 is now back in the US, where it actually originally came from, and so the guy sent me a message the other day saying that he was very, very happy with the purchase. How I sent it was actually quite interesting. I went to a hi-fi store
Pigeon.
because I didn't have a box for it. So I went to a hi-fi store and I said, if you guys, because these are all 19-inch, right? Have you guys got any boxes that you want to, you got gear in your store there and you got a whole heap of boxes out the back. Do you want to just flick us a box? And the guy gave me this Marantz box. And I just literally just cut a tiny little bit of polystyrene out of its cradle, and the whole MKS70 just fit in like a glove. Wrapped it in bubble wrap, chucked it in the polystyrene, wrapped it all up nice and neatly, put some plastic around the outside, and then off she went. Took about 3 weeks to get to the US from here, which is not too bad. Actually, probably less than that if you count the days. Under 3 weeks, but it cost me nearly $300 Australian to send it.
Wow.
Because they're what happens with postage. You guys will probably be the same in your country. It works on girth, so it works on the weight and the length and the height, and if it exceeds a certain girth, it will go into the next sort of price bracket. And because this thing was so heavy, it was like something like 9 kilos. It was really, really heavy compared to a lot of the other gear that I've got rid of, which is only under 2 kilos, right? That's where it sort of sent it over. But yeah, it's fine.
Do you have the same problem with export paperwork? Because I mean, sending this mic to France.
Easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sending this mic to France, right? Quadruple. It used to be triplicate before we left the EU. Now, well, it actually was before, while we were in the EU and going to France. It was really easy. But anything export is in quadruple now. So I'm filling in these bloody commercial invoice forms.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
when we send something to the US, we've got to fill out there's like a special code that you've got to allocate to the item that's in the box.
yeah, I had to do that. Yeah.
It's actually become a lot easier to do now. You used to have to look up this massive PDF, and it was a pain. Now it's like a database, and you can just search
It's the
keywords.
website, yeah.
It's pretty
the
easy
same.
now.
We've got the same stuff.
Yeah.
We need things called Aurora numbers as well, though, which are a nightmare.
If you're shipping brand new things, there's some extra stuff that we've got to do as well. But if you ship something and you flag it as a gift, which it's probably not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best thing for me to do.
No.
But there's no option for used, right? So it's actually probably the most correct thing to select, right? Because the person that's sending it isn't making a commercial transaction, and the person receiving it is sometimes usually unaware because it's a gift. So that one fits the used transaction market better, because technically governments have made their VAT or their GST and their sales tax and everything on the item in the first place, so they shouldn't be double dipping.
Yeah, yeah.
And if countries are double dipping, I want to know about
I
you.
know.
You get a big smack.
UK.
Actually,
all the time.
it's worth mentioning that anybody who's got Bandcamp, I got this from there's a small little record label about 40 miles down the road who do lots of export stuff, and Bandcamp in the UK have had issues in the last month sending to Europe, and this guy's been sending out his CDs and cassettes and stuff, and they're just bouncing back because something to do with the way that Bandcamp deals with the EU now. There's a bit of a problem. So if anybody's ordering stuff from Bandcamp in the EU, be patient, because people are having problems with it at our end. But it's not the guy that you're selling it from. It's Bandcamp's problem.
I don't actually get any notifications from Bandcamp unless it's Darren, and they seem to be false anyway. I don't get any notifications. If someone's ordered something, I literally have to go in and check to see if there's an order sitting in there, and it really does my head in, because I'm not always thinking, oh, it's not like Bandcamp's like my main source of income. I might get one a month or something. It's I need to go across to Chris, because he's jumped on StreamYard. I want to say a big hello to him. He's such a lovely
Chris.
Yay! Hi everyone. Is my mic sound good today?
Chris.
Ooh,
Hey.
video feedback.
Fantastic.
I've disappeared into the 80s.
There he is. He's
Oh
back.
my god. There
He's back.
I'm back.
Video.
Hey,
So
all.
that's your new VJ toy, Ian. Did you see that?
It is. That's it. I don't. I'm going to save myself 350 quid, and I'm just going to.
Just get StreamYard.
Much
How are you,
easier.
Chris? You good?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, mate. Hope everyone here is well too.
Yeah, doing okay.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I've had a pretty good week. A short working week because we had a long holiday, as you do too, I assume, Rance.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
It's always a short week. Work week is always good, fine by me. So just pottering around in my pure data, playing with the leak, pottering around with the GP82, mucking around with that, and something did arrive today that I ordered.
Oh, yay. Gee, that was quick.
Wow, great.
That was nice and quick. Front and center, hey?
It is front and center, but I've only had it for about 24 hours, so haven't had much of a chance to, other than to update the firmware, as you always update the firmware, and make sure all the audio is working. And can you hear that?
You can,
I
yeah.
can hear that.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, I can. I can't hear it, so I don't. Yeah, it should be. And I don't know what I'm playing because I can't do it by sight. So I can actually not hear myself. So if that was out of tune, I'll just pretend that was deliberate.
It's
it's spent a bit of time trying to work out how to fit it all in, but we're good now, and now I've got it here. It's a bit of a relief because I don't. No more looking online, waiting, trying to pick the right moment, all that crap. Yeah, so I can relax a bit now. Between that and all of the Eurorack that I've got, my second case Ghetto Blaster is operational too. So between all that, I've got a lot of options. So this is going to keep me busy for a while, I think.
Fantastic.
So it's good times.
You guys are all getting new gear, except Darren and me. Phil.
Oh, I know. It's we shouldn't rub it out, should we?
It's all right, Darren. We're brothers, mate. We'll we'll persevere.
Yeah.
We'll power
Your
through
day
this.
will come. Your day will come.
We'll go minimalist.
It's called being broke. That's what it's called. Yeah. I'm
Well, like I
actually
say,
mortgaged.
I'm still catching up.
That's how broke
I
I
had
am.
to spend mine on a heater.
Yeah, yeah.
I told you about the candle in the terracotta pot idea, didn't I?
Yeah, I know, but I just didn't want to knock it over, knowing me.
You didn't want to burn your studio down. All right, we're going to have to get cracking into the show. Big hello to all the chatties who have been waiting there patiently. Wow, it's been scrolling forever. I'm not going to be able to go through everyone and say hello, but I'll just randomly pick a few. Big hello to John Simpson, one of our channel members. Keith and Watford, also one. Big hello to Wagoo. We've also got Failed Muso, Lady Aptitude, Azio Head, Prometheus UK, JX3D, Culture of Ghosts, JP Page 2, and Path Lake, and a whole bunch of Universal Vibes in there. And what else? I'm just scrolling real quick. Manny's in there, Dr. Synth, and there's Matt Brown, big hello to you, Neil Warden, and there's also Mr. Kent Spong, who graces us with his lovely presence. All right, big hello to everyone, and if I missed you, I do apologise. We do have to get cracking. We've got a lot to get through. Starting with Funny Side. These are just random ones this week. Nothing sort of themic, but your girlfriend's back, Darren. And she sold you weird computer piano things to pay for the wedding. Yep. Sorry, Sarah. Next. This is JX3 that has to explain this. JX3, hang on a sec. I've got to fix Chris up. He's gonna miss out on seeing stuff. There we go. Yes, all the different parts of the UK labelled accordingly.
Def Leppard for South. That's pants.
Shed 7
around here mentions Def Leppard.
Yeah, but what's with the China drum?
It's nice to see my mate Paul from Shed 7.
Yeah. T-Power. Yeah. Cool. Let's go.
Yeah.
God, give me a reason to go to work. Synthesizers are not cheap, my dear child. There you go. That applies to all you guys this week for spending all your money.
It certainly does, yeah.
And what else do we have? Oh, this one was sort of floating around Discord. I actually do want to mention Discord because a lot of people say to me, what's Discord? There's Discord link, right? Oh, geez, what happened to our little thing? There it is, it's back. This is if Apple was a democracy and they had to actually make an iPhone with everybody's woke requests. Do you know what I mean by woke requests, people? It must have just about every single port backwards compatible known to mankind. This one definitely got a few people chatting in Discord, so do check out Discord during the week. I think there might be one more. Yes, this one. In Australia, you have to be very careful about. Well, we have to be careful about putting our boots on because spiders crawl in our boots and our shoes and things like that. But lo and behold, you now have to be careful about playing guitars because you never know what's lurking in there. There we go. It doesn't really affect us, so I just don't think a snake is going to go inside a synthesizer. It'll happen one day.
Are you sure it is?
Kent should never had a snake inside a synthesizer.
I mean,
I know you found a shoe.
I've had spiders inside of amplifiers.
One at a time, guys. So we'll start with Chris. Chris is passionate about this. What have you seen a snake in the synthesizer?
I've seen a snake in the synthesizer, and you know where they go there because the analog is so warm.
I haven't actually seen one. Yeah. I have seen a redback spider kill a snake though, and that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that went around recently, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So, Kent.
Yes, we've seen rebates.
Want to bet runs? Yeah. So
I don't want to bet. I haven't got any money.
You guys have the awesome lethal wildlife. I love the lethal wildlife down there.
Yeah, we've got lethal wildlife. Anyway, we're going to get stuck into this part of the show, which is probably the longest drawn out ever known to mankind. News. Starting with this one. I don't even know why it's gone to that for the first photo, but hey, we'll roll with it. It's actually the third photo. Let's go back to the... That's not even supposed to be there. There we go. Start with this one. Neptune 80. There we go. Neptune 80. Scroll down, Rant.
Similar to something else, but I can't think what.
So, actually, Behringer announced this.
Darren.
Behringer announced this yesterday if you're in Australia, and today if you're in the UK. I don't know. It's today-ish, yesterday-ish. But this was what the DeepMind probably should have been originally, but they got scared and decided to make it their own thing, which was a good thing because I really like the DeepMind. I think it's actually one of the rare products that Behringer have done a good job of. But here we go. You've now got an actual Juno clone, and it's, dare I say, quite well received according to social media. A lot of people are saying this is a great idea. My big question is, and I think Wagoo would probably be along the same lines with me here, the Bucket Brigade delay chorus, if that is a blimmin' TC Electronics June 60 in there, they're going to get a massive slap from me. Please put the MN 3009 Bucket Brigade delay chip in there, otherwise literally pack up your bags and go home. Anyway, gents, ladies, everyone else who wants to comment on the... It's 8 voice, by the way. 8 voice instead of 6. So you can pay 2 extra notes, Darren.
Surprised it
You jealous?
hasn't come sooner.
Let's go with Darren, because he knows the Juno better than most of us. He's got a Juno 6 behind him, right behind him. If he leans his chair too far back, he snaps the keys off.
Wrong way. I can't afford to get a new Juno 60 now because they're going for quite a decent price. So I suppose in a way I could get the the Behringer Juno 60 because that hasn't got presets. I'd have to hear it, and like you say, it depends on the bucket brigade delay. It just depends on what they've done with that. How much is it? Do we know?
There was
no info yet.
There was no price. Yeah, there was a guy talking about it being sort of DeepMind 12 price range. That's what the.
But you see, DeepMind, I can put in a rack. I'm sort of needing rack space. I'd probably go with the DeepMind, but I don't know what to say. I can't say much about it really. It's a clone of a Juno 60.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's just one or more clones, but I'd probably get this just to go with that. So because I can't afford a Juno 60 anyway.
I think you're probably right, Darren. I think that because they've done it in the Behringer DeepMind 12 chassis, it's likely that they'll bring out the desktop modules as well, right? That seems to be a no-brainer. In that case, it'd be
I would
useful.
think so. Yeah. Like I say, it's a bit of a wait and see this because we don't know the price, so it depends on the price as well. But yeah, and I think with the DeepMind, you can even have the app. Is the app still working for the DeepMind? I know it went through issues.
Yes, it is. Yep, they updated it recently. It is working still. So
yeah, I'd be. I like the look of this because it'd go nice with that, but I'd probably go with the DeepMind 12.
Well, I've got one. They're really good synths. In fact, a lot of people rubbish the effects in it. I actually think the effects in it are amazing because it's good, Clark Technic and TC Electronic, and they're really good effects companies, in their own right.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm not over worried about if it hasn't got good effects because I like to run it through other effects anyway. But it's good if it does have effects, decent effects. But I'm not. That wouldn't be a killer for me.
Yep. Anyone else? A quick comment about the Neptune 80. Kind of hard to get your name around that.
Why Neptune though?
Yeah. Well,
Because
it's the planets thing, isn't it? Planets. I think it's not for me.
Yeah,
I say that, but I think it's. I think it'll sell really well if it's $750. Is that a DeepMind 12 price? Yeah. It's not for me. I wouldn't not interested in particularly in a Juno clone really.
All right. Easy. Your easy fix.
Yeah, no, I can see it selling well.
Brooksy?
That was quick. He faded him out. Easy fix.
I don't want to. I don't think it looks right. I can't quite make my mind up
Yeah.
about what it is because it's got the same sort of panels, but it looks unbalanced because it's only 4 octaves. The actual synth controllers are slightly shifted to the left a bit.
Look at that,
and they don't
6.
Yeah, Brooksy, I reckon I know what it is. That's marking it up for you. I reckon it's that. It's that
panel on the
LED
right
panel
side.
in the top right hand corner. It doesn't belong there, does it?
Yeah.
If it
guys
was on
agree?
the left and the synth section was shifted across to the right, I think it would probably look more balanced. I
Yeah.
don't know what I mean by that. It just doesn't. It looks
just chuck
all
it on the
off kilter
left.
to me.
Absolutely, chuck it on the left. It makes more sense
the
for it to
Well,
be.
the choruses are set out up. Yeah,
To
it just
the
looks.
left.
Yeah. Brooksy's on it.
Yeah.
He's on it. Okay, and Andy, any comments from you, mate? Quick ones.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So they squashed the hell out of the interface to make it a smaller keyboard and also to have a smaller chassis. So if you look at, I have the Juno 6 as well. So look at Darren's on camera there, because mine's way back there.
Darren, move your chair.
There's nice space around it. So there's actually space above the logo and around the logo. It's, if you do any kind of design work, whether you do like web design or print design or whatever, there's spacing rules in general, right? And it just looks stupid the way they cram the logo right up in the upper right corner. Just like it's squashed in there, so it just looks unprofessional, just from a graphics point of view, right? And then I know why they did it, because they squashed it down. It's a shorter keyboard and they put in that panel and stuff like that. But it also, the colors aren't quite right, and the shape, it's kind of ugly overall, actually. But
Yeah, it's
You've got to remember,
the
this
deep
is a
mine grey.
prototype now, isn't it?
This is a prototype. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Brooksy. Yeah,
But-
it is.
but they it's not too hard to nail the Juno sound. It's a simple synth, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, DCOs.
The tricky thing is getting the chorus right. So
These are DCOs too, Darren, by the way. And you can move your chair back if it's a bit uncomfortable for you, mate.
Oh, thank you. I was just burning myself on my new heater that I spent my money on.
suffering for the art. Yeah.
Okie dokies. Back to the news. So we looked at the back of that. It obviously has MIDI in, out, and through. Has some connectivity.
See, the back looks nice and balanced.
Yep, like the DeepMind.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's got that.
Also, one more
noisy
thing: if they want to
fan
be
and-
different, they could also use the Greek names of gods instead of the Roman names of gods. So,
yeah,
it'd be the
Well, I
Poseidon
wondered about
60,
that as well.
right?
Yeah.
that's the inside. Whether anyone can pick any of that, I mean, it's so zoomed out. No one would know what the hell half of those chips are. They're all SMCs anyway, so I don't really know what that's on.
Kent would.
Can you see the bucket grade
Kent's
chip?
comment is lovely. Looks like a
can't.
106 with Lego glued on.
The photo that they put up on Facebook was quite low res, so you couldn't zoom in. It's all blurry. Well, not blurry, but pixely anyway. So yeah. Okay, what's next? These. Yeah. Bogafogers or Mogabogers? I don't know. Behringer have announced 2 more of these. You've got the
Moga
BM, the BUM 103, the BUM phaser. I'm kind of happy about this because I just sold mine, and if it's an absolute 100% clone, winner chicken dinner for me. Yeah, ching. If it's like $90 or something, that'd be great. So that's that one. It looks exactly the same, like modelled, where the paint is, the buttons, the switches, everything looks exactly the same. It's just slightly not the same shape, if that makes sense. It's just kind of looks a bit sort of squashed. So if you actually look at a Mogafogo, they kind of look more elongated and more regal in a way. This looks kind of a bit squashed up. There's the back of it. It's like looking at cars, isn't it? There's the front, there's the back, there's the side, there's the top. There you go.
There's a switch.
We don't really know what it sounds like because they never ever give us demonstrations. They make these prototypes, make some like, what are you just making? Are you just
So
making
when are
a bit
these
of
going to come
panel?
out then? For
Yeah.
instance, the Juno 60. Are we going to be waiting a few years for it? If it's
No.
just
Well, they
Nobody
announced
knows.
the first prototype last
Yeah.
year for the delay pedal, the 80-104, I think it's called. So it's been a year since that one's been out as a prototype. They've been dragging the heels. Maybe they're getting in deep water with Moog. Anyway, they're doing this one as well, the low pass filter, so the 101. So that means they've now got, if my addition and subtraction is correct, they've now got 4, I believe. So they've got the ring mod, the delay, the phaser, and the low pass filter. And there may be one more, actually. I might have actually missed one. But anyway, there's the back of that. Now, the difference between the back of the other ones and this one, which I thought was interesting, is there's MIDI. So there is something that the Moogs didn't have on their 101s. They didn't have MIDI. And I'm interested to find out what they plan to do with it, because those Moogafogas are completely analog. There's no digital interface in them whatsoever. So what's the MIDI going to do? Is it going to interface with the pots, the switches? What's it going to do? Interesting. Or is it just there because it looks pretty? A bit like the MIDI on the MS1. It just sent notes.
Well, there was a mini Murph, right? Didn't they have a MIDI version?
They do have a MIDI Murph, yeah, but I don't think they've announced that yet. Okay, so we've done the phaser and the filter. Thoughts? Anyone?
Good point. Universal vibe. Sync MIDI clock. So could you sync the LFO sweeps and the phaser to MIDI clock?
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
Yes.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah. Actually, that would be a step in the right direction.
Handy.
This is what we want Behringer to do. We don't want you just to clone stuff. We want you to improve it. It's not, 1980 anymore. It's 2023. Like, bring the technology.
Yeah, make the 1980s synth and then bring it up to date so we can use the same sound, the same techniques, but in today's technology.
Exactly.
That's great. Like I say, because if they don't get that Juno 60 chorus the same, then I wonder if it'll make it more sought after for the real ones.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's correct.
To a newer generation type, people will go, oh.
Most people wouldn't know. To be honest, Aaron, anyone who goes into a music shop,
don't burst my bubble. I've got a heater, and that's all. So.
They would not know. You can just turn all your synths on. Okay.
You're dead smug about that heater now, Darren, aren't you?
He is very smug.
I
Now,
it took weeks and weeks.
we haven't finished with guitar pedals. This one is the other one that they've brought out, the B-Tron. Now, if you guys are wondering, they also announced the clone of the Duo Phase, which is a bad name for... Yeah, anyway. Musitronics brought these originally out in the early 70s. And the B-Tron is modelled after the famous Mutron 3 pedal. Now... us synthesizer people probably won't know these as much as maybe jazz guitarists or people with, I don't know, clavs. I don't know. I really don't know what we would use these for. I'm sure that someone would say, hey, what about this? Great. I'm trying to put my head around it, but because we have envelopes and high pass, low pass filters and stuff in our synth, so it's kind of interesting. Then again, you never know. These might be a cool thing. But don't forget, the Mutron 3's been out since 1973. So you'd think someone would have done something. Anyway, if you were to buy a Mutron 3 now, they're about $1,000 US or $900, $1,100, somewhere around there. So they're selling for some pretty price. Behringer are talking about bringing this out for $99. So there's your go-to for that. Behringer do a good job, I feel, in cloning guitar pedals. I'd agree with that. Yeah. The delay, not the delay, the phaser pedal that they cloned years and years and years ago. They call it vintage phaser. It's basically a small stone clone. They did a really good job of that.
Yeah, I remember that.
He comes
Why
in
describe the
with
Juno
his...
4 so badly?
Here it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Mutron on Reverb at the moment, £850.
There you go.
And it looks a bit beaten up as well.
So that's more than 1,000 US.
Yeah. So if they bring it out, great stuff, really.
Yeah. Have you ever used one, Ian, a Mutron?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay.
No. I'm not big on guitar pedals, really. Although I've got multi-effects pedals. But I did when we were selling Behringer stuff, we did test a lot of the guitar pedals out that came out at the time, because they were, I mean, they really were dirt cheap at the time when they first came out. And then this is way before the pandemic, and they hit real problems of supply, and we just couldn't get enough of them, really. Or they just literally disappeared for months.
That was when they were moving their factories. They were going through that, setting up the China factory phase, and that's what that would have been. That place, if only they didn't have the chip shortage, that place would be pumping out stuff quicker than you could say Jack Robinson. But yeah, anyway.
But they were really good clones, yeah.
Anyway, so $99.
Yeah.
By the way, the Boga Fogas we mentioned before, we don't know how much they would be, but I would assume it's sort of similar price, around the $99 mark would be. Because the engineering is kind of similar to the Neutron 3. It's the Moog Fogas. It's kind of similar engineering, so it wouldn't be. I could be wrong, but that's just my guess. What else? Oh, that's the real one, by the way. Just to remind us what it looked like. I mean, for 1973, that's a pretty sexy looking pedal. You'd have to admit.
God, yeah.
I mean, that thing would have looked very futuristic in the day.
Looks like they nicked the switches off a mini Moog, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yeah. The coloured switches, nice, like that. Next, more Behringer stuff. Sorry, guys. RS9. This thing is called. We've talked about this. We talked about this on Synth Geekery episode 160. If you want to go and listen to us crap on about this for hours, we're just going to crap on about it for another hour. No. This is basically, if you're wondering what this is an RS9 modelled after a D9, which is the Behringer clone of the TR909. So, but eurorack format. There's a whole bunch of information in that episode 160 if you want to know what it does more. But really, the announcement here is they're pretty happy with it. They're just going to find out if they can get all the components for it. And it should be $179 once it starts hitting the shops after they finish production it. I generally feel that Behringer take a year from this part. Generally, if they say we're going to put it into production, it usually takes about a year. I don't know. It could be wrong. It could be quicker. But this does look interesting. I mean, we talked about this last time. I actually think this looks pretty interesting. It's a little bit ugly looking. Takes up a lot of HP, but
I suppose.
Lots of outputs.
10 channels of triggers.
Yeah.
But it's just a trigger sequencer, though, isn't it? There's no sounds in it or anything like that. It's just our sequencer. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I've got a BeatStep Pro, which has got eight-step sequencers and channels. So,
Anyway, someone will buy it.
If you'd have got a whole stash of 909 sounds,
so it doesn't even.
Nope.
Yeah, it's just no. Well, it's not
because
the amount of.
It's not like the RD9 being plonked into a eurorack module. It's just a sequencer, which is a shame. I mean, if they're going to release a module which actually is just a companion module, which is the 909, their analog sound section. Thank you, voices for it. To pair them together, that would work too. And then Ranzee's going to waft his BeatStep Pro into the exactly. As a trigger sequencer, you've got two sitting there all ready to go, but it's not in your rack.
True. Mind you, though,
another
the difference in size between this
I know.
and the BeatStep
I noticed
at
Gearfest. I hadn't, not Gearfest, at Synths. I hadn't really figured before just how much smaller it is. Yeah, I mean, I never had a play with the SQ64. Yeah,
nice hand bundling.
The SQ64. SQ64 has a lot of chord stuff on there, a lot of like secret features, so it's not that fun.
Yeah.
It's you have to memorize a lot of stuff.
Awesome. All right, move on next. Cool.
Oh, no chance with me then.
Yeah, it's just typical Korg, isn't it?
I was hoping someone would say like who are you going to call with the telephone buttons on it? It's like
yeah.
beep, 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 beep. Hi, Mum. I'm just on my Eurorack.
They could have put the actual drum machine in
Brain's
your
got the
rack, 'cause
FM
that guy
synth in
makes
it
an
now.
808.
So you can make telephone sounds on the Brains now because it's
Yeah,
got FM synth.
it'd be
Hey,
better
Bobby.
than put the actual 909 in it.
Oh, look at this, people. Roland are doing leaks now. When was the last time Roland did a leak? Hey? Ah, dear. I don't know if it's... They're saying it's not a leak. Is this like a leak when it's not a leak? It's actually... It's a prototype that the engineer who you see sitting behind it has just made. But why show it in a photo in their newsletter that the whole world can see? That's a leak. Yeah. Hello?
They must
what
have,
is it, though?
do you think they have rooms like that? Just floating around their offices, a nice room, white room with a cyclorama? We just have to take a casual photo.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think so.
The thing on the right is the prototype of the SH4D.
On the left, you reckon?
Surely. Yeah, that's. And they went, "No, it's too small."
Well, it could be an SH2D.
Could be.
Yeah.
I reckon it would be mad, as in cool mad, if they brought out an an MC202, modern version of an MC202. That can have a digital. I don't mind.
Do you think that's what it is?
It could be. Who knows? Nobody knows.
Could be.
Looks 3D to Jim. Yes, hello, Jim. I'm Tish to you too.
It was actually the poorly named SH1TD.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I wonder if he's still working there.
Sorry.
I wonder if he's still working there, that bloke. I have no idea what it is, but I just thought it was interesting. I thought maybe someone here could have an opinion about what it could have been. A lot of people seem to think, nah, it's nothing special, move on. And I'm thinking, well, I want to kind of...
Well, it's Roland.
I want to be happy. Imagine if it had a little analog synth in there, like the MC202. That'll make me happy. No one else happy, just me. No one seems to care about analog.
If you look
anymore.
at the past things, they've done the SH4D, so there's going to have a family of these, aren't they? Have them out for a couple of years and then go on to something else. Yeah.
Yes, we know it's a prototype, Wagoo. We know. We said it. We said that. And also, they said that. And, yeah. Anyway. Next. Sound like... Yeah, what's this thing? This is the Eternal Engine Mars. Not much that I can tell you about
that looks
this.
Funky. 4 valves.
That does look cool. But notice the little valves up the top of the 4 valves. Eh?
That
says to me,
it's got valves on it.
That says to me it's either going to have 4 voices, 4 valve voices, which would be pretty sick. It does seem to look subtractive. I can't tell with the graphics; it's just really too hard to read. But it does tend to, like this that large knob there, Darren. Your eyes went straight to that. I know. That's the filter, probably.
That and the coloured lights. There's lots of lights on it.
Yeah.
But look, it does look pretty cool. Anyone in the chat want to add to what they think this is? It looks like it's got a
LED
VCA.
display looks ace as well.
Yeah, it does. I really like the look
It's
of
a
this.
bit old school. Yeah, it's a bit old school, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's that.
I just got one thing to say.
Yeah.
Rance, I just thought you talked about 2 voices or 4 voices or what the valves are. It looks to me like the first pair of valves are a different type of valve to the second 2. So it might be 2 valve VCAs and 2 oscillators. Just to guess.
It could.
I don't know if it could be just the lighting, but they look like one was a pentode and the other one was a... Oh, what's the other one called? I've forgotten my valve theory.
Should we have
new album title.
There was a video. Shall we have a little look at the video? Why not?
Go for it.
Why not?
It's got 8 lights.
It looks like one
Yeah,
valve
cool.
is loading up there.
Doesn't it?
There's 2 valves lighting up. I love the Nixie.
It's polyphonic.
The Nixie digits. That's
Nice
cool.
polyphonic
Yeah.
tube synthesizer.
Perfect example why you always use line in, not the damn microphone.
Oh yeah, because this sounds
yeah.
amazing. Jokes, sarcasm. There's a filter, Darren. Told ya.
Oh, big knob fella. This is not going to be cheap.
No, it's not, is it?
If you're running Nixie lights
No,
for the,
8-note polyphonic,
preset.
so why 4 valves?
What are those tubes doing then? They're just there for show. It's like an Electro, guys.
It'll be a valve stage for something.
There we go. It's kind of funky, isn't it? Nothing I've seen like it. It's definitely got us interested. So, yeah,
Looks great.
those guys need to apparatus.
I'll
whatever
have
they're
that
called.
on my desk.
Eternal
But
Engine.
I've got a feeling that's going to be well expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've actually
I'm,
a better demo.
I'm saying
but,
1500 easy. 1500.
Yeah, I would say.
You're missing a lot of frequencies of that microphone, so. It's,
Oh yeah, I reckon that thing would have
not a good
sounded
demo.
awesome if it was plugged in properly.
Yeah.
Do we have
Make sure
time?
Xils-labs got one.
Do we have time to talk about this
You
last
will have,
one?
won't he?
Do we have time to talk about this last one? I kind of want to sneak it in. I really,
Go on.
I'll be honest with everyone.
Go
I
on,
haven't
do
had a
it.
chance to research this, but it just really looks kind of like something that I would be interested in. This is, from what I can work
Great
out,
name.
is a matrix switcher, mixer, right? And you know, people who have eurorack are going to love something like this, but it doesn't necessarily just have to be eurorack. It can be MIDI or you know, DAW linked or whatever. So I can see this thing being a cool little device. Now, I'm going to put you over to Brooksy because Brooksy seems to know a bit more about. That's about as far as I got. Brooksy, what can you tell us about?
Robbie sent us the links through for Pro Synth Network last night. He sent them through yesterday or the day before. So I had a chance to have a look at this, and I did spend quite a lot of time on the website reading it through, because there's quite a lot of information about what it does. There wasn't a lot of information about the pricing. Apparently, there is some information out there.
$16.99.
At the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you put down a £1 or a $1 deposit, you can get it for $10.99, 35% discount when it
wow.
becomes available.
Let's have a quick look at that.
So
Keep
it's
talking while I do
high
this.
end. It's pricey. It's more than just a matrix switcher or a matrix mixer. It's also a 16-channel 8-note polyphonic. In other words, each of your 16 channels can have 8-note polyphony. It's got the CV and gate breakouts for pitch and CV and all sorts of things. Audio in an audio routing. It's really quite comprehensive, and you know, you can see from the video the sort of drawing in waveforms, drawing in envelopes and stuff. There's a lot going on in it. The actual box, you can see itself, is really quite a large thing, you know, or that person's got really diddy hands. So it's quite,
No, it's
quite large.
Yeah.
And the Eurorack breakout thing is also quite a substantial thing as well. But I think this is going to be really quite intriguing. There's going to be some people who are really going to, this is just what I need in order to interface X, Y, and Z all together as a sort of hub for a hybrid Eurorack stroke, you know, other hardware system. It's probably going to be very comprehensive. And you know, I was very intrigued, but again, it's even $1,099 is a hefty price, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I know what
yes
you're
and
saying.
no.
You get
Not
an
for what it
awful
does,
lot.
yeah.
You're
Yes
getting
and
an
no.
awful lot. Yeah.
If Behringer made it,
What point?
yes, it's expensive. But these guys are,
boutique,
you know, they're a boutique company. They probably
exactly.
they probably put their heart and soul in it. So they don't have like 50,000 employees, you know, doing one little tiny thing. One guy's probably designed the software. One guy's probably designed the hardware. You know, I love this sort of stuff. This stuff really. This is what makes me happy about the music. Tech
It's got a lot
industry.
going for it, for sure. For sure.
I love the display. the fact that the display goes right away across the top, and you know, you can see where the routing is.
Connected.
Yeah,
it's quite high quality.
I
the
love
display,
that.
isn't it? It's
yeah, that is a cool display.
Great, actually.
Yeah,
and at 1,600, I don't think it's out the way. You know.
Well, even that 30%.
And if
price
put
is
some
the
sort
price
of
of an
synth
instrument.
engines in it, if they can, as well. So it always becomes a sort of box almost.
Yeah.
It only costs $1 to lock in the price, so I went on and did the dollar thing just in case I want it. So.
Well, might be a good idea. And if they get 3.5 million people sending them $1, they've done very well, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
I just can't see that happening. But yeah, the logic's there, Brooksy. I don't even think there's 3.5 million people that are interested in synths, are there, in the world? It's a pretty boutique thing. Anyone who does YouTube will know this.
No.
Anyway, that is it for the news. I think we handled the one thing I'll say about the Behringer announcements. I don't mind showing them, but please, Behringer, if you're watching, because I know you do, do a little bit more audio, even if it's like a SoundCloud clip. If you haven't got time to do the video, especially for those Moog Foga pedals, I haven't heard any of them yet, so I would like to hear one. If you've literally just built the metal box with no electronics inside, fair enough. But you know, don't show it if that's the case. You shouldn't be showing it as a prototype.
You just keep me hanging on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But reiterating what Darren said last week about them needing to innovate with their own stuff. So it's been Clone Central this week. We do. Oh yes, we do need to show the last thing. I know, and I showed it right at the start. I forgot about this.
Yes.
What happened to my thingamo? Where is it gone? Where's it gone? Sorry, you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. Here it is. Ooh, the Trommel machine. I did want to talk to you guys about this thing by ST Modular. I thought this thing is interesting. It is a drum synth, and I believe it's got a bit of the peaks algorithm in it, from what I've worked out. But yeah, that thing, with the different sounds and analog and digital drum mixing, I think that's actually going to be really cool. Now, one thing I couldn't work out though is if there was a video for this thing, and I couldn't work out if there was a price either. Does anyone know anything about these? The ST Modular Trommel machine in chat, maybe? Let me see if I can. Well,
I've done a bit of research on the company. They pretty much produce kits. And pretty much it's what you said last week is a kit. So it's basically PCBs, front panel, bill of materials, assembly, instructions. You guys go for it. I don't think that Pusher Man will assemble kits for you. Pusher Man will put together a kit for you and be the middleman, but they do it on a discretionary basis. So when they start producing kits that we can actually buy as kits, but it's all those that guy from that particular manufacturer is only ever seems to supply PCBs and panels.
Yeah.
So it's not sourced from them, the whole chain. It's just so it is kind of the Mutual Instruments ethos in hardware.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, here's the software, it's like, here's the rest of the IP.
Yeah.
You guys supply the parts. So, yeah, I think that's why it's hard to find the price.
Let's keep talking while I cross over to the website so you can keep talking. Yeah.
It's available here. That particular supplier has stuff available here in Australia. I think it's called Elka Studios.
Yeah, I don't even know who they are.
Elkaelectronic.com.au. Elka Electronic. They also have the NTS2 and patch and tweak Korg bundle showing on their website for pre-order, by the way, if anyone's interested in that. It's from Australia. And they do seem to be they seem to be. I'm just looking at the website too now. These guys, $40 Australian for a panel and a PCB, I think. That's
So you'd need to source.
I tried to find the largest ad, and that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
we have lost you.
I have looked at all.
You're back.
Hello, am I back?
Yep.
I've gone.
You actually. I don't
I'm
know.
back.
Is it me or is it you?
I have looked at these guys before, a couple of months ago.
I think you're okay.
Hello.
going. You're just laggy.
Okay.
Very laggy. Yeah.
Good.
Shall we have a look at?
Am
the
I
video?
laggy? Okay, yeah, that would be because I was looking at a website.
Let's have a look at the video.
I reckon it's a good idea. Yeah.
Let's just fast forward this a bit because he gets a bit going here. So this is a digital voice with CV control. So it's a drum synth. So, don't expect it to be a complete musical. Alright, now let's do the analog voice. So this is the peaks, isn't it, guys? It's just probably a nicer layout, maybe. I don't know if I'd even agree with that. Make your own peaks.
Yeah, see, I'm getting old. I haven't got time to make things like that.
I'm with you there. Here we go. We've got some music
Especially
happening
when
now.
you've made it, it's going to sound like exactly the same as someone else.
But you can do this with the peaks. It's probably not quite as knobby. I'll get a photo of the peaks up in a minute for those who are wondering what the peaks looks like. It would be a bit of fun, I reckon. I can see why some of the guys are interested in this. So yeah, ST. We have looked at ST modular before. I'm pretty sure. Chris, I think you are still okay. By the way, I can still see you moving, so you haven't completely frozen. Anyone want to comment on that? That's the Trommel machine by ST modular, which is a mutable instrument peaks / whatever. Yeah. After later audio type thing. Yeah. Anyone?
I mean, it's not a perfect name for it because Trommel machine is drum machine, right, in German. So you think drum machine is a standalone, but it needs to be driven. So it's not really a drum machine; it's a drum voice.
When you guys see me show the picture of the peak, you'll see why this thing exists, because the peak is really very basic. And this thing is a lot more sort of cool. Yep, keep going, guys.
I actually use my peaks for the alternate firmware. So.
I'm going to be controversial and say I thought it looked great and sounded indifferent.
Jeez, Andy, you're really controversial, mate. Just calm down. Sorry, Andy, I didn't want to put that over your face, but
I agree with you.
Nah.
So you can see the difference between this and the peaks. It's like massively more control, and the firmware that's inside the peak is, obviously. But yeah, there you go. And let's just bring that one back so we can see it. Yeah. I don't know. I reckon you could have some fun with that, but I don't know. Like I'm still mucking around with sampled bass drums, so I don't know. In Eurorack, I kind of feel like firing off samples is easier.
It's a lot of HP for a drum voice.
Yeah, it is. Chatties, any comments from the chatties? No one saying anything about.
You'll squeeze 3 drum voices out of it, Andy. I think you'll have a bass drum one and an analogy thippy one and noise.
But you get the pico drum, and the pico drum is it's 2 voices and a tiny 3U thing. So
pico drum 2.
Yeah, pico drums is the one that's got the 2, and the drum 2
the
is
one has 2. The drum 2 is the analog voice.
Yeah, it's the generator one.
Yeah,
I've got both of them sitting over here. They're awesome, actually. and that literally takes up 6 HP with the 2 modules together, 3 HP each. So yeah, nothing against this though. I'm with Darren. I just don't think I would have the patience and the time. I mean, Chris, you would probably have the patience and the time, maybe to put this thing together, but yeah, not me. Now that you're back,
I tell you what I do.
and you're not.
I tell you what, I don't have the patience for finding the down parts.
Oh yeah, going through like spreadsheets. Yeah,
it's a challenge.
yeah.
Just for a little module like the one I'm building, getting a passes together.
Indeed.
And
Now,
easy.
guys, I might actually skip Price Watch today, because otherwise we'll be gas bagging about prices. I feel like I want to touch on envelopes, because people get angry if I say we're going to do a show on envelopes and we don't get to do it, and I get all these people like sending me.
No,
death
you're
threats.
now very politically put might. So
Yeah, I'd put might now. Yeah, it's very, very Australian-like. I might get to that work in the week, in the year. Anyway, envelopes. Envelopes are cool because why are they cool, guys? Why are they cool? Because you can shape your sound with them, and you can shape your sound with a filter, and you can shape your sound with a VCA even. So what I've done is I've deliberately brought in this Meleco / Roland 540 EG, which is a fairly standard looking EG. In fact, it's so standard that it's been around since the 80s in its design, apart from a couple of things. The first is it's got the fast and slow switch here, which really makes this envelope arrive in the 2020s, and it also has the cyclic mode on it as well. So, but I've also plumbed them through data there, and you guys can see the top half of data, which is the first two, is these two envelopes triggering, and the bottom half is the 2 envelopes in maths triggering. Now, the reason why I've brought maths in is because you can see they're quite a different envelope generator indeed. And the other cool thing about maths is the cyclic, so you can have this thing cyclic, like longer, shorter, real short stuff. In fact, you can almost generate noise with this sucker. That's how cool this thing is. So maths is cool. And the other cool thing about it is if we want to, we can plumb the output of each of these EGs into our synth voice, and we can have a little look at how different they are. So, but before I do, like a lot of people who work in the world of envelopes will just understand attack, decay, sustain, release, and that's all she wrote, as they say in the classics. But it's not, is it? Because quite a lot of envelopes out there aren't just that they have a couple of more stages in them, and a couple of synths. I'll just write a couple of synths off for you guys, and you guys can add to this. But a couple of synths that come to my mind is like the Korg Poly 800 and the Sonic ESQ1. 2 synths that have a little bit more complex envelope generators, and they have like the hold and those.
Casio CZ1.
Yeah, and even still, if you look at, I should have actually even put it in this case because it's sitting over here. You could look at the Clavis or Clavis Quadigy, which is an insane envelope generator. It's like a completely digital envelope generator, and you can make it just about any envelope you like. In fact, you could probably even send your letters to Spain in that. But anyone want to just, what's your favorite envelope generator, or in your, what envelopes do you like the most, in what synth, and why? Maybe that's a good start. Just a quick one.
I have a bunch, but I like the Zadar module. It's really good.
Okay, we'll go. Brooksy, I'll go to you second, and I'll go Andy first, because
I mean, they're good for lots of different systems and keyboards, but my favorite crazy one is the Zadar in the Eurorack, just because there's so many things you can do with it. You can automate things, and you can and it's wacky. If you watched Gaz Williams videos about it, you see what I'm talking about. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're the Chaos device ones, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Brooksy. That's not Brooksy. That's Brooksy.
Oh, hello. Envelope generators, modulation in general has been something that I've been looking at a lot for the system over here. I've got at the minute in this rack, I've only got the Behringer 140 dual envelope and LFO module in there, which is okay. It's okay, and it's just 2 standard ADSRs. And I've been looking at a number of different things. There's a couple from Dutfer which are VCAs with attack release envelopes built in, which is probably in your Eurorack is probably about all you need really. Tesseract do a module which has got 8 rise fall envelopes, which if you send them a trigger, it's an envelope. If you don't, it'll cycle. So there'll be LFOs with different, you can create your waveform shape with the different slopes. And again, I've been looking at, a lot at those. Well, they do vary. I mean, for example, I think the envelopes on the 140 are just a little bit sluggish. I had a look. They don't have a fast slow switch. The LFO, however, does. The envelopes on the original Pro 1, they are very fast. They are very fast, very clicky. Bit more so. I mean, I know they updated them on the Behringer Pro 1 to be better than they were, and it seems to have done the job. But they are really sort of snappy envelopes. The other thing is, of course, you mentioned it on the maths, the actual shape on those Korg digital synths. It's very linear. It's up, down, whereas the envelope on a Pro 1 is now I've got to get this one. It curves upwards. Is that exponential, or is that exponential, or is that exponential? I forget which way. One's logarithm. Look, it's which way the curve goes.
Exponential and then linear is a straight line going up.
But Brooksy's after whether it's logarithmic or exponential. So it's probably logarithmic.
There's 3 shapes, isn't there? You've got straight line, which is linear. You've got it where it sort of like curves like that, or you can have it where it curves like that. Where it curves like
a concave versus convex type curve. Yeah,
convex. Yes, that's right. And they are that shape on the on the Pro 1. That sort of
concave. I can't really do it. That's exponential, isn't it?
Yep.
Is that exponential? And they sound natural, because acoustic instruments and real instruments have that response. They don't have a linear response. Yeah. So
I agree with you with the Pro.
Respond
the
like
Pro
that.
1. It's awesome, actually. I think that's one of the reasons why some of the sounds out of that thing are so awesome, because of that envelope generator. Yeah, absolutely. While we're talking about maths, I've got the cyclic thing happening here, and all I had to do was just move the little red cable from that port to that port, and now all of a sudden we've now got beautiful, lots of fun. So that's cyclic for you.
See, and I will go at that point. To me, that ceases to be an envelope and is basically a sawtooth LFO.
Yeah,
it's so the crossover point is where does it lie? I mean, it doesn't matter, because it's a modulation source, isn't it? That's what it is.
Well, that's the thing too. You can do the cyclic thing with the Roland as well, so we can do that if we want to. And so we put it to fast and cycle. And then you can see it cycling already, and then you can adjust the cycle speed. Here we go.
Oh, that's nice.
This is what I like about the Roland stuff. How an envelope generator is now creating it's AM basically, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? And then that filter is literally getting hammered at the moment by that envelope generator. See how I'm getting a beat sound now?
Whoa.
Make this a bit louder.
That's lush.
Yeah.
Let's turn off the reverb.
What does the sustain do in that? Does it just act as an overall level?
Yeah, it's like an amplitude in this. Oh, little wet farts coming out right now. Hey? Isn't that beautiful?
That's what it is. It's a fart machine, isn't it?
Time to change your underpants.
There we go,
Very
guys.
expensive fart machine.
Couple of good fun eurorack envelope generators. Now, we mentioned before the Clavis Quadigy. I just didn't have enough space in this thing in front to do that one as well. The other thing that you can do with envelopes too is portamento. A lot of people don't realize, but you can use portamento to actually slew an envelope. And slewing an envelope will just change its overall shape, I guess. So I don't know if we're going to have time to do all this other stuff. I've done videos on this. I think that's probably the best thing to do next. I have done videos on the slew on my channel. If anyone wants to know how to do it, I'll point you out into the videos and you guys can go check it. One thing I will mention though is I did a video years ago on the EX/Poly 800, and I did this graphic. You can see it in the background where we did the slope, take decay, slope, hold, and then release. So we were looking at like nerdy, looking at how this envelope generator works through time and volume or amplitude. So that's a really interesting synth, that Poly 800. I mean, it's it was Korg's real cheap and nasty throw it out there synth.
I wish I'd never sold mine.
But the way the oscillators work on it is really interesting because it's a whole bunch of square waves, right? And the way the envelope generator works on it is really interesting. It's you can actually
good
get
mods for it too.
Good mods for it as well. You can get some really, really funky sounds just with the fact that you've got this gritty sounding square wave trying to pretend it to be a sawtooth oscillator, and the crazy envelope. So yeah, if you've never ever tried a Poly 800, they're really cheap to pick up on eBay or Reverb. They're cheap as anything. Someone can do a quick look on there now if you like and find out how much they are now.
Look now, because you've got me thinking about it.
They may. I think they might.
Instrument stages is good for making different envelopes because you can go up to 6 points on
6 points, yep, which is like the Korg, yep. Yeah. So you're getting that, Darren, you're getting that slope, or so after you've got a decay, you can then send it back up again. And that sort of second attack is really cool fun when you've got sounds, you're getting that sort of attack, decay, and then a second attack, and then a hold, and then a release. It's cool fun to do. You can do that with the on Sonic ones as well.
Yeah. £225 on Reverb for a Poly 800 Mark II.
That's going up a bit now, isn't it?
Yeah.
$225.
Actually, some of them are. I mean, that's the cheapest. $480. Somebody's got one.
Wow.
$460. That's a bit pricey, isn't it? For that, really. But
yeah. Hold on to your polys, people.
They were only
Yeah.
about
It's got a flight. It has got a
£350.
case with it as well, though, which is all right.
Oh,
225.
I've got the desktop modular. I've got the EX800. And they're one of the biggest problem with them is the contact switches on them. Are these tiny little copper convex type
Bubbles.
circles.
Bubble switches.
Yeah, and you have to clean them. And
Yeah, because they go, don't they?
You have to open them
Yeah.
up.
I had that
That's
on
a
the
bubble.
8000 had them, and that man really screwed up towards the end of its life. You know.
Yep. All right. Now, Ian, because you
Yes,
haven't had much of a go. What's your favourite
Okay.
synth envelope?
I'm a bit Catholic here. ADSR would be my favourite, I think, really, if I'm honest.
Yep.
You know, because I don't do eurorack, and I don't necessarily think about the different envelopes, and I think of that as just part of whichever synth I'm using. Manny in the chat had said that the Hydrasynth envelopes are, very variable and very, there's a lot you can do with them. And I've only touched the surface of my Hydrasynth since I got it, and I would agree with that. So from a digital point of view, what else have I got? I mean, I've got there's my Sledge up there. So I don't think that's anything exceptional from an
it's
envelope
snowy.
point of view, really. Hey, yeah, but it's a black one. It's not white. It's not orange. So yeah, no, I mean, I'll use whatever the synth's got, really, to some extent. I mean, I don't think about it. I don't overthink it. If I'm doing things on a computer with envelopes, I love the variability of being able to use to do all sorts of things with it, if you know what I mean, not just and I like to write curves in myself and all that sort of stuff if I can.
Yep.
Which is so if I'm doing anything with an envelope, to do with a song or a track, I would write the curve by hand, and I've always done that.
Yeah, like some
rather
of the
than
the Waldorf synths can do that. Yeah, they're actually really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, awesome.
And I really like to do that on a computer.
Awesome. Someone mentioned they wanted to know what the Clavis Quadigy looked like. That's it there. It's a quad based envelope generator, so you can actually send out 4 envelopes, but it's complexity inside that it's not just an ADSR. It's also got the extra 4 settings on it, and it also cycles, and it also works in global mode, and it works in sync mode. It's some pretty insane stuff. Plus, this is something else that a lot of people have mentioned to me is, wouldn't it be nice on an ADSR envelope, just for example, to have an LFO that, say, modulates the decay by itself? So it's like as if you're actually you've got some sort of LFO moving this decay, like this, or moving the sustain maybe, right? Wouldn't that be nice? So you can do that on the Quadigy. And the other thing that you mentioned too, Ian, was it's a cool thing to be able to draw envelopes. So the IntelliJ Planner 2 with the joystick records what you're actually doing X, Y.
Like that. Yeah.
So you can actually use the planner as an envelope generator. If it records it based on time, and then you let go, and that's the cycle. So it repeats. So you can do things kind of cool like that. But yeah.
Speaking of drawing, I also used an expression pedal with a CV interface to draw with my feet, basically. So your hands are busy doing stuff with the modular. You can have 1 or 2 foot pedals with CV control, and be doing weird stuff with drawing controls that way too.
Yeah, the Moog CV control pedals are really good actually. There were 2 different versions. There was a really expensive one, which I don't know why. It was just basically the same as this other one. It was like a quarter of the price, and they did exactly the same thing. It just one looked prettier than the other. But the
one
inside,
looked kind of like the whammy pedal. It had a little screen on it.
Yeah,
that was a nice one.
It was. Yeah, cool. Chatties are saying some interesting stuff. There was a comment before I saw about the Roland System 500. It is based on the System 100M, but it is also based on because it's got that cyclic and the fast slow envelopes. It's based on the System 700, and there's also some extra bits and pieces. Yeah, it's a very cool hybrid. But the 540 was one of the original 4 modules that Roland brought out. So there were two releases that they did over time. And the 540, the 510, the 512, the 520, and the 520, whatever it is, I forget the name of it. The VCO, the VCF, the VCA, and the EG were the first 4 that they brought out. And then they had this second run where they brought out the 555, the mixer, the SH5 filter, and I think one of the CV tools or something else. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. But out of Eurorack modules, they are very, very solid. Like they are hell pricey. So like a 510 all-in-one synth voice, like you guys were saying before that I used the Behringer one. This one here, there is a 510 version that Roland brought out. I do want to get myself one eventually, but they're like $500 Australian just for a synth voice. It's pretty heavy, whereas these are about 100, so it's like a fifth of the price. So, it does the same thing. Ish. Someone's gonna murder me for saying that. Ish does the same thing. Ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
You can't deny those Behringer System 100 modules do the job. They're well built. They sound great. They may be as sturdy as those Roland Maleko modules, but they really do a grand job for not an awful lot, and they enabled the process of getting into Eurorack for me, for certain. That was. And there is a lot you can do with them, which I guess is credit to the original Roland designs, because the Behringer has stuck very, very close to it. I mean, that was their brief, and they did it. And they are really good value modules for what they do. Absolutely.
It is interesting though, because like the Maleko made, and they are kind of quite a bit different to the other Maleko stuff that they make. I've got the voltage block and the variegate and something else of theirs, and they feel a lot different, but the quality behind and everything is the same, but the actual design feels different. It's kind of interesting. It's definitely Roland influence, that's for sure. Another thing quickly before we're talking about this, there seems to be people who get into Eurorack and everyone says, "Oh, you got to get a maths." Brooksy, have you got a maths?
Oh.
Have you ever needed a maths?
No.
You don't have to get a maths, people. There you go.
No,
Heard it from Brooksy. It is really cool if you've got one.
It's a great module.
They are very useful. Yeah.
They don't just
module.
do EGs. They've got a 10 inverters on them. So these things are positive and negative. Yeah. And you can, and also the plumbing, the internal plumbing and switching in this thing is actually quite insane. I mean, I showed you guys when I was doing like a bouncing ball thing a few years ago with this. It was awesome. So there's some cool stuff you can do with it, but you don't need it. If you've just got a standard synth module with an EG, that'll honestly get you a lot further. But if you do want to do some funky stuff, I had this thing patched up before, and I took a photo of it, so I'm going to have to hope to God that I get it patched back when I put it back in the other case. It was doing some really, really cool cyclic funky stuff with some of the other modules I've got over there, and you can't really do that sort of stuff on many other modules. Its maths is kind of unique. There was the Befako Rampage. Is that the right
Yes.
one? It's kind of similar.
That was up against it. The other one that's interesting is the Create Audio.
Yeah.
Which is the function. Is it called the function?
Function.
Where you've got standard ADSR, you've got an AR, you've got an LFO, you've got various, and it can cross.
Yeah, and you can feed them into each other. Yep.
Yeah. That's quite an interesting thing.
And
just been mentioned in the chat, interestingly enough, is PAMs. Now, one of the things I'm looking forward to exploring is the actual envelope generator and modulation functions of the PAMs. Clocked envelopes. So all of that, I'm really thinking of. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying those things out and seeing what I can make that do.
And on top of that, that means that you can also play around with phase and width.
Yeah.
And because it's all built into that, each of the little outputs has like a massive long parameter list that you can scroll through.
There's a lot under the hood, which it'll take me a long time to. But I think I'll think right, okay, that today I'm going to try and see what I can do with the envelopes, cycled envelopes, or that shape of clocked LFO. It's a learning curve. It is a learning curve. At Synth East, I did meet one of the guys from ALM on their stand, because they've got piles of these just sitting there. These little, and I said, I'd like to. Oh no, they're not stickers. It's that stupid piece of paper that I've already had a rant about elsewhere.
Oh, a little brochure. Yeah,
and I said to her, so I pulled it out and I was going, oh, brilliant! It's got a quick start guide. I said, and what you're trying to do is sell me more modules after I've just bloody well bought one off you. I said, it really needs a quick start guide in there for idiots like me who can't understand what you've printed on the blooming PDF file because it's too much and too complex for my little brain to cope with. I need a little stupid idiot's guide to it. That's what it needs. Not, you bought a pound. What you need now is an ASQ1.
Light mutable instruments.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful things.
Yeah.
And he went, that's just a good point, that, It's a really good point. I'm going to feed that back to guys. Yeah, actually, I think that's it was dead lovely.
Poor guy.
When it comes out, when it comes out in the top corner, it will have for Andy.
Brooksy's quick start guides.
Brooksy's quick start guides.
You'll get this email, Brooksy, and they'll say, right, you're right.
This is for the stupid idiot at Synth East. Yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. Well,
also, if you don't want maths, you can get they have a half-size one. I think it's called Function. It's basically maths.
The maths function.
Yeah, so. It is. I mean, honestly, they could have squashed this thing into less space, but it doesn't make
Create Audio.
It doesn't make it
function junction.
What do you call it? Playable. If you squish that in,
thing, isn't it?
It becomes unplayable.
It's all cramped.
Yeah. Anyway, I am going to wrap up the show, guys. That was pretty cool. We didn't get through his price watch, but that's all right. That wasn't really anything other than we can just do that next week. Any quick announcements before we go?
Track tomorrow. Sonar Deep.
Track tomorrow from Darren.
Video on Monday.
Video on Monday. Brooksy?
I've stuck out the audio from the Golden Mask of Tutankhamun. That was the track I did for Dean Electronic Sounds showcase a couple of weeks ago. The recording of that I thought was so nice, and the performance went well. I thought, I'm going to stick that up on Bandcamp. So that's up there as a single. It's a 13-14 minute track. Usual thing. It's available for free download. You don't have to chuck me any money, but obviously you can if you want. Grace has had a little pause on it, making it sound, sprinkling a fairy dust on there. So it's actually quite a nice sound, that. So if you're interested, and Jim Glue's promising a premiere of his Nottingham EMOM performance, which I wasn't there, so I'm looking forward to that later, Jim, if you can get it sorted.
Sonic State EMOM tonight, apparently, according to Steve.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, cool. And what's the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, Wagoo, thanks for the chuff that you popped through early. We didn't thank you for that, for the 10 chuffs. So I appreciate that, mate.
Apparently, I've got a job at Korg Warehouse, according to Universal Vibe.
Yeah. Nah. Absolutely. Cool. Other than that, we won't forget that we've got people sitting over on StreamYard, which is Chris. Chris is sitting on his own. He's feeling very sad, but no, he's not. He's happy to be part of the show, I'm sure. And Chris, I just wanted to give you a plug because on Discord you've been letting people snippets of information about your module that you've been building. So there's little photos in there as you progress. It's really interesting to watch. So keep doing that, please. Even if you don't get thousands of comments on it, it's it's definitely been seen. That's for sure.
Yeah, people are interested. I'm happy to keep on doing that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for being part of the crew this week, and everyone else, of course. Darren, Andy, Ian, Brooksy, and Chatties in the bottom right-hand corner. Thanks for you guys as well. Have a good week, everyone.
I'm gonna prepare for an
Cheers.
EMOM in San Francisco on the 23rd, so that should be fun.
Cool. Next week is
stick it up.
Next week is our 4th birthday.
For you.
Yay!
How exciting!
Yeah.
Ooh,
So now we can
cake.
really say that
Having
we're
cake.
all farts on YouTube doing streams for 4 years.
Cake, bro.
Speak for yourself.
Party hat.
Yeah.
We all
Say
got
hi to your
cake
mum
on
for
the
me.
front.
Have a good week.
No worries. See you,
See you
everyone.
later.
Everyone. Try.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Take care.